Hi again, this is Dr. Marlin McKay from Goldman Medical Center in Florida. Last night, our Minister of Health made a very important announcement with regard to a new 10-day period of isolation and quarantine, reducing the previous 14 days. And there seems to be a lot of confusion, so please allow me a minute or two just to clarify what exactly is going on. Firstly, we need to know the difference between isolation and quarantine. Isolation, when you have been diagnosed with COVID, you go into a room and you stay there until you are declared recovered or de-isolated. Quarantine is for someone who has been exposed to somebody who is positive. They must remain at home and not allowed to go out anywhere until previously, at least until their 14 days is over. So what happens now with this new 10-day rule? Now remember, if you have been diagnosed with COVID-19 and you have a mild illness or your symptoms are mild, in other words, you are able to manage them at home, that means you can now be de-isolated from in other words, come out of your isolation 10 days from the day that your first symptoms started, provided you feel better and that your symptoms are improving and that you have not had to use any medication to control any fever. Very important. Remember, you are most infectious up until at least around day 8 of the infection, and then there is no longer any risk of transmission of COVID-19 from you to others after 10 days. So you don't have to feel 100% better. You may still have a bit of a slight cough, you may still feel a bit tired, but you are not contagious. And hence the understanding now that after 10 days of being in isolation for COVID-19, if you are feeling better, you can now be de-isolated instead of waiting the full 14 days. The other scenario, of course, is if you happen to have a COVID test, you have no symptoms, but the test comes out positive. In other words, you are then classified as an asymptomatic patient. You do not have to spend a full 14 days in isolation. You can come out after 10 days. You can be de-isolated after 10 days. And you do not even need a retest to prove that you are now negative. Now, finally, if you have been exposed to someone who is positive with COVID-19 and you have been asked to self-quarantine, remember you are negative but have been exposed, and you have been asked to self-quarantine, you can now come out of quarantine after 10 days. You don't have to spend the full 14 days in quarantine, counting back from the last day of contact with the person who was positive. And again, this is based on scientific data, which shows that if you're not getting any symptoms by day 8, you probably are not going to get ill with COVID-19, and hence you do not need to spend 14 days. You can be de-quarantined after 10 days. So I hope this clarifies it. Do not stress about the 14 days and now the new 10 days. It's going to be okay. There's good scientific basis. The World Health Organization has verified this, so it's going to be okay. If you have any other queries, I'll be glad to help. Thank you for watching.